So, reading through the first half of Hosea, we continue to hear about God's indictment of the people, and in some ways it builds towards chapter 8, verse 14, which is our verse for today. Israel has forgotten his Maker and built palaces, and Judah has multiplied fortified cities. But I will send a fire upon his cities, and it shall devour its strongholds. A lot of verses that aren't very light in the prophets. But part of what the Lord God is getting at here is Israel has forgotten the most important thing. They have forgotten who made them, forgotten who they belong to. Think back to the great Psalm 100 about how we are the Lord's and we are his people. We are the sheep of his pasture. And that's the sense that God wanted to create among his people. And Hosea is saying Israel has forgotten that we have a Maker, and forgotten that we belong to him and owe him our loyalty, our love, and our allegiance. And again, this is a situation we see in our own time. Fewer and fewer people believe in God. Fewer people believe there's a God to know or to serve or to love or to be responsible or accountable to. And Hosea describes a time when the people, they forgot their Maker, and what did they do instead? They built palaces for kings and princes. They gave their love and loyalty to a human ruler. And they also built fortified cities, meaning they trusted in their own strength, their own defenses, what they could do with their own hands. And whenever we put our trust in human leadership, we put our trust in what we can do physically ourselves, biblically speaking, so often that's when people get into trouble. There's a psalm that says some trust in princes, some trust in their war horses, but we trust in the Lord our God. And that's, again, the biblical affirmation that the prophet Hosea wants us to make, that we remember our Maker. We don't forget our Maker. It's very important to remember what's most important in life, right? It's crazy some of the things you remember in your head, like some of us who are my age or older can remember all the ingredients in a Big Mac because of a commercial jingle that once it gets in your head about 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. I don't want to remember that, and yet it's still there in my head. I can remember something that's worse than useless to remember, and yet we can forget things that are vitally important to remember. And that first most important thing, Hosea would say, is remember your Maker, who loves you, who wants us to love our Creator, and to whom we are accountable.